What's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Headshot and thank you for joining us. Today I'm going to be bringing y'all a brand new pistol review. A brand new pistol that has just hit the market as of today. The MP9 Shield EZ. And if you've been following us on, if you're a patron or any of our other social media, y'all know that I took a trip up to Smith & Wesson. They invited us up to take a look at this brand new pistol, get to shoot it, spend a little bit of time with it, and now we have one to bring you a full review on day one, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to tell you everything I know about it. Pros and cons, how it shoots, all the features, all of that good stuff. A little bit of size comparison with the original Shield, which is really the oldest gun we have in our collection pistol-wise. And I just want to tell you my overall thoughts on this gun. So hang tight, stay with us here, and after the video, if you are a SHOT Team member, make sure that you look for your special outro coming right after this. Speaking of SHOT Team, thank you to our newest member of the SHOT Team, Gray Sheepdog 556. We appreciate you joining the team. And if you would like to join the team, maybe check out some of our awesome perks that we have over there. You got to see this video first before anybody. All kinds of cool things. Come over and check us out over on Patreon, where your support is much needed. It's a big part in the process of what we do here. So thank you for joining us. If you already have joined, thank you. And if you want to join, cool. Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this new MP. Out of the box, cardboard box, pretty par for the course there. You're going to get two 8-round magazines. Let's go ahead and pull the gun out. You're, of course, going to get your safety manual and some other literature in there. We don't need to go through all that. Get the box out of the way. Pull the gun out, which is the star of the show. All right, so let me share the specs here really quick, and then I will compare it to the original Shield. So the overall length of this gun is 6.8 inches. Barrel length is 3.6 inches. Overall height, 5.0 inches. And the unloaded weight is 23 ounces. And then it's got a frame width of 1.0 inches. All right, so you may be looking at that thinking, wow, it's actually a pretty good gun. Now, what I would like you to do in this in the big scheme of things, we're going to talk a little bit more about this at the end, but remember who this gun is made for. This gun is made for newer shooters, beginning shooters, shooters maybe with weaker dexterity in their hands. This is not your next P365. It's not your next Hellcat. This is not who this gun is designed for. All right, so I want to preface it with that, because that's the kind of guns we're expecting to see, but this is not who this one is made for. Okay, maybe hopefully down the line Smith & Wesson will do one of those types of guns, because I think they would make an awesome higher capacity, smaller concealed carry gun. But this is really made for new shooters, and maybe even some experienced shooters alike. Maybe they're getting a little bit older and they don't have that dexterity and things that I just talked about. So I just want to keep it in the scope of who this gun is actually made for. But I do want to show you here really quick what this looks like next to a regular Shield. So again, I've had this one in my collection now for a good long while, several years, probably the entire time we've been on YouTube, because this was like one of the second or third guns we ever bought. So here we go. Check this out. If we just look at the slide lengths, not counting this little bit of beaver tail, just looking at them slide to slide there, you can see the Shield EZ is quite a bit longer. It's a little bit thicker in the slide width and in the grip width there. And then if we put them on their backs, the original Shield has 7 rounds. The new Shield has 8 rounds. All right, so there's your size comparison to give you an idea of what these guns look like next to each other. So features, all right, there's a lot of features on this gun that I think are actually pretty cool. You have front and rear slide serrations. This, of course, is a part of the M2.0 family, so you're going to get that. One thing that they've done on this gun specifically, though, is they've lengthened them a little bit. So you have a little bit more real estate if you want to do your press checks, which is a nice little feature there. This one does have the frame rigidness, all right, so that's going to reduce any kind of flex or torque when you're firing. That stainless steel insert that's in the actual frame of the gun. You do have a rail right here, 1913 style rail. All right, so if this is like a 1 only type of gun. You actually can use it for like a home protection or anything like that. Being able to hook up a light or a laser, which is really good. Rounded off trigger guard, just like the original shield. One nice little touch that they did do, let me get this out of here. Notice that on the original shield, right under the trigger guard, how it kind of flattens out there. You have a little bit of real estate that you can get your finger up under there. With the EZ, they actually really did a nice job, almost like what Glock does in their trigger guard, how they kind of cut that out so you can really get your hand high up on this gun. And that's one thing you're going to notice is that the comfort on this gun is going to be a lot better than the original shield. All right, you can see I can almost get my entire hand on the shield. On the EZ, it's not even a question whether I can get my entire hand on it. Okay, so nice little undercut there. They have really toned down the grip texturing on this gun, and I want to show you the M2.0 grip so you get an idea of what I'm talking about here. So if you look at the original M2.0 grip texturing that they did, you can kind of tell the progression that they've gone through. So this is the original grip texturing. Really not much to speak of there. And then they went super aggressive on the M2.0 lineup, which is great if you're at the range, but if you're trying to carry this gun, it's going to either tear up your skin or your undershirt. So what they did is they really toned this down while still giving you a good grip at the range. So it's a really impressive balance that they did here. You can see just how less aggressive that really is. I hope that that translates in video here, because it is a much less aggressive grip texturing, but it feels really good. So perfect job there, Smith & Wesson. You guys nailed it on this grip texture, and I think going forward this would be the way to go for sure. Another little small change that they did is they actually takedown lever, they actually flatten that more to the frame of the gun now, which is a nice little feature there. You can still access it pretty well actually, but it's just more flush, and I actually prefer that. Slide stop right there. Good luck using this thing as a release because it is very stiff. Magazine release is reversible, by the way. All right, and then of course you get the 2 8-round mags. These mags actually come with the easy load button right here, if you want to call it that. Very similar to what comes on the 22s, which I think is interesting. But again, the whole idea of this pistol is easy. It's supposed to be easy to use. Also, a grip safety, and I know this is going to be a point of contention for some people, some hardcore people maybe, but it's really a passive thing. It does not get in the way. It's an extra measure of safety, which obviously this gun is more promoted towards newer shooters. Wings in the back here, so they do have those nice slide serrations, the fish scale style serrations, but now they've milled out an actual set of charging ears, if you will, into the back of the slide. And by the way, the slide, if you can, just get into a gun shop that has one of these and just pull the slide. It is incredibly light. And one benefit that this gun has is it looks like it's striker fired, but it actually has an internal hammer. All right, so just from them doing that, they're able to shave off quite a bit of weight on that slide. When you pull the slide on this thing, it is so easy. It's in the name, right? So there you go. Drift adjustable sight in the rear. This is a proprietary sight. And then they have your standard front sight that's dovetailed in there. Loaded chamber indicator now. All right, instead of the normal viewport, they did an indicator right there. So when you have a round in the chamber, that's going to pop up like that. Coming around to the other side of the gun, again, your magazine release is reversible. Smith & Wesson logo, all of that good stuff. Slide stop is not on this side of the gun right there. All right. Now, one thing you may notice is the trigger is not the hinge design, which they normally do on their M&P lineup. We'll talk about the trigger after the shooting part of the review. So that's all the specs and features. They really have a lot going on with this pistol, a lot of features that make it very easy to use. We'll break it down here really quick, show you what that looks like. Rotate the lever down. You don't want to have the grip safety depressed while you're taking the slide off or putting the slide back on. So just a little heads up there. So you can just kind of grip it lightly like that, release the slide, let the slide come off. Again, here's where your hammer is. Kind of pull that for you there so you can see what that looks like. You want to have that down when you go to put the gun back together. And then the back of the firing pin, of course, is in there and all of that good stuff, okay? There's the set screw for your sight right there. So if you want to adjust your sight, you can just loosen that up, adjust it where you need it, and tighten it back up. Single captive recoil spring, stainless steel guide rod, all of that good stuff. Stainless steel sliding barrel, and they do have their new Armor Night finish. Now this one does have the rounded edges and flat edges, all right? So you just want to make sure when you put it in there, when you put this back together, you want to make sure the rounded edges are down and the flat edges are on the side right here. All right, just like that. There's your barrel lug, of course, and all that good stuff. Internals, slide rails right there, hammer right there. And then putting it back together, again, you don't want your grip safety up because that's going to move this piece up, keeping the slide from moving backwards. So just keep it depressed. Or don't keep it depressed. Get out of the way of that. Put it back together. Safety check. Boom. There you go. It does not have a magazine disconnect, which is a good thing. And there you go. There's all the features. All right. So let's hit the range. I'm going to show you some of the original footage from when I took the trip up to Smith & Wesson and some of my footage here at home. So hopefully you'll enjoy this afterwards. We'll talk about the trigger. I'll show you the weight, and then we'll do pros and cons and my overall opinion of the M&P Shield 9 EZ. We will see you guys in a minute. right, so hopefully y'all enjoyed that. It's all in the name, man. This gun is an easy gun to shoot at the range. It's easy to rack the slide. It's easy to get shots on target. I will say we were hitting to the left of center on the targets. I need to adjust the sight over a little bit. No big deal, but I didn't have any tools with me at the range, so that's on me. All right, just to let you know. But overall, the gun did great. No malfunctions, no hiccups. Of course, that's what you want in a concealed carry gun, or any gun really, but especially concealed carry. The gun did great, man. The safety, or the grip safety, didn't cause me any issues. I didn't even think about it. It's just one of those passive safeties that, you know, makes really new shooters feel better about having safety. So they do offer this one with or without a thumb safety, if you're curious. So let me go ahead and pull this. All right, so definitely make sure you have the grip safety depressed. Pull the trigger. 5 pounds, 13 ounces. Let me try that one more time here. £5 pounds, 11 ounces. The trigger is actually really good. Let me show you what it looks like. Again, there's no hinge design here. Pull the trigger. Really, once you take up the slack in the trigger right there, it's ready to break. All right, it was kind of throwing me off because I'm looking for more of a, there's your reset. I'm looking for more of a wall, but this is the wall. You have trigger all the way out, slack take up, pull, reset, right there. So not as audible and clicky as the M2.0, but you can still feel it. You can still hear it, right? The trigger, it took me a little bit of getting used to, but I'll tell you, it's actually really good. For an internal hammer trigger, I like it. So that's the gun at the range. I think it did a fantastic job. Very easy to shoot. And that's going to lead me, who is this gun for? Why is this gun here? Obviously, this is aimed at new shooters. It's aimed at maybe older folks that don't have the dexterity in their hands to pull back because the difference between pulling this slide all the way back and the amount of force it takes compared to this, it's really nothing. All right, so this is a very attractive option to maybe even women or younger shooters or whatever, to get into the pistol market and not be overwhelmed. It's a little bit bigger, all right? So that's gonna lead to more confidence when you're shooting at the range. That's why this pistol exists, all right? And Smith & Wesson even told me that the 380 version of the EZ was a very hot seller for them. And 9mm, being a more capable round, is probably going to do the same. You know, there's a lot of new shooters that want a safety. They want these different features. They want a gun that they can control. I mean, let's be honest. I like the P365 and the Hellcat and these other guns that are coming out, but they are challenging to shoot. And if you put a smaller gun like that in a new shooter's hands, it may destroy their confidence. So that's what they're going for here. This is open to a wide range of people. So it may not be for you, it may not be for me, but it's for a lot of people, and to get people into the pistol market and give them another option. So I think it's definitely a good thing. Let's talk about the pros here really quick. The grip texturing on this gun is fantastic. They finally got the balance between really aggressive and really non-existent to this. This is the best grip texturing they've put on their guns, bar none. The wings milled into the back of the slide, I think, are excellent. I think they did a great job doing that. Watching the CNC machining, and I can't really share a whole lot of photos from the factory tour of this, but seeing a big bar of steel turn into this, it's really cool. And I was able to get another perspective on how they build these things. So it was definitely an experience, I must say. But the overall shield lineup is fantastic. So a lot of these things I've already talked about. The magazine release, it's in a good position. It's a little bit different now than what they've done, a little less raised. The magazines don't fall out as easily with the slide lock back, but I mean, this is the position the gun's going to be in whenever you do a mag change, so I like to show it like that. But The mags get out of there fairly decent. Sights are decent for what you're getting. Metal sights, 3-dot setup, easy to pick up there. And the trigger, I really like the trigger for an internal hammer fire trigger. I think it is actually pretty nice. And then this little cutout under the trigger guard makes such a big difference, makes the gun a lot more comfortable in the hand. Lifetime warranty through Smith. The prices on these things are right. Armor Night finish, stainless steel components. It's actually a really solid gun. All right, it really threw me off when they told me what they were coming out with. All right, there's a few of us there, and when they make this big reveal, I'm thinking to myself, why? But I get it. I understand why they're doing this, because it's going to reach so many people, so many new shooters, and maybe experienced shooters alike. So I'm really excited about this. So we talked about all the things that this gun is good at. And again, if we're keeping it in the scope of who this gun is made for, there's some things that I'm not going to point out, because I understand, I understand who this gun is made for. So if I was just looking at this, oh, well, it should be a new P365 or a Hellcat, well, then I would say the size is a little too large. The capacity is not there. It's a little bit too heavy. There's just, those types of things are what I would be looking for if I was thinking it's a new Hellcat or P365 competitor, but it's not. So when I think of cons with this gun, considering who it's made for, the only real things I can point out, the trigger, I think it may take a little bit of time to get used to, but it's actually a pretty dang good trigger. The sights out of the box weren't adjusted for me. I had to do a little bit of adjusting, not a big deal. I'm pretty much reaching at this point. The mags, they don't really shoot out of there. I like a real springy action to the magazines when those things come right out to get a fresh mag in. But that's just one of those things. The slide stop does not really work as a release that well. It's going to take the hand to God to release that. And I prefer a loaded viewport as opposed to the loaded chamber indicator. Miss Techshot actually likes the loaded chamber indicator. So there's some things there. I don't know if I talked about these wings, and really I think these would do better on a shield, on a regular shield, because the slide spring stiffness on the regular shield is a lot more stout than this, so I think these would do better on a gun like that. But even still, they don't stick out like the HK VP9 SK, like the actual polymer wings, but they give you just enough to grip onto. I don't know that it's necessary for this gun, but it actually is a nice little touch there that they put into that. I think it would be something going forward that would actually be a benefit. I really do like that a lot. But that's pretty much it as far as cons, considering who this gun's made for. It's a bigger gun. It's designed to be easy all the way around for anybody to use and carry and shoot. It's got a lot of great things going for it, but you got to remember who this gun is really marketed at. And don't get me wrong, that's not to say that there aren't going to be some experienced shooters that pick this gun up. I mean, honestly, me and Miss Techshot were pretty dang impressed by the way it shot. I mean, it's a really good shooting gun at the range, especially considering it's a hammer-fired gun and all these kinds of things. They did a really nice job. So if you're looking for a do-it-all type of pistol, then this may be a good option for you. I mean, it's big enough. You have, decent capacity. I wouldn't say it's the best home defense gun because of the lower capacity, but it's decent. So if you're that newer shooter or somebody coming back into this or buying your first gun or whatever, newer shooter, I guess, and you're coming into this looking for I want kind of a do-it-all pistol, which I hear a lot, this may be a good option for you. And one more thing, and this is going to be very subjective, but I could do without the grip safety. I don't see it as necessary, but it's passive enough. It doesn't get in my way. It never affected my shooting, not once. I could probably do without it. Most newer shooters are going to lean towards the manual safety version anyways. So if that's something that, some people see as maybe, being just an extra step of caution there, an extra step of safety, and it makes makes them feel better about it, then fine. I mean, it's very passive. As long as you're holding the gun the right way, an experienced shooter or an intermediate shooter, this is never going to affect you. So I don't really see it being that much of an issue, but I would rather do without it, to be honest with you. This thing is an awesome shooter. I'm telling you, man. And for what it is and for who it's made for, I think it's fantastic. I'm not going to lie to you. So there you go. There's my opinion of the M&P 9 Shield Easy. It's different. I wasn't sold on it originally, I'll be honest with you, but I just, for who it's made for and what this gun offers, I like it. So there's my opinion. If you are a power patron or up, look for your special outro coming right after this. Thank you for all your support. We'll see you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.